Okay, so I was on Twitter and I just saw this now. I don't know how I missed this because apparently it happened like yesterday or like 2 days ago. So look, the game against West Ham, right, 2-2 to go, and Klopp and Salah arguing. That has been the main thing that the media has been talking about, right? I always said it, the media, they don't like Salah. It's obvious why they don't like him, because he's not English. When I say that, it seems like I have no basis to stand on, but we all know why they don't like Salah, why Salah is never really acknowledged. And yes, I know he hasn't been in the best of form since AFCON, since coming back from injury. And now people are using these bad run of games to justify and say that, oh, this guy's not good. Who are these people? Well, it's a lot of people, but I'm going to talk about these three people specifically. And the things that they say about him, it's so funny because it's like, you'll see what I mean. So let us start with Graeme. So these guys have a podcast, up front or something, podcast, whatever. And Graeme says, I think Salah is the most selfish player I've ever witnessed. Salah, the most selfish player. Salah, Mo Salah. I'm going to play the clip from the podcast, right? Just...
I got hammered for saying he's not world class. So what I mean by that, I think world class is reserved for a very 4, maybe 5 players at best.
So I think in his period at Liverpool, you have to say he's been world class. I think he gets to anyone's team. Now, goals do influence games.
Yeah.
So he's had an enormous influence in the last 5-6 years as
absolutely.
a Liverpool player.
I don't think he's as good as people make him out to be. I do think he's a diver. When the going gets tough and someone puts it on him, he'll
100%
disappear from a game.
A couple of years ago at Old Trafford, Martinez went through him, and the rest of the game he was looking over his shoulder. Now, he doesn't like that side of the game.
You look at that and go, he's bottled it. I look at it in the game against Everton, the last 5 minutes. Balls were dropping in the box and he was like just dangling a leg out and not really there.
He'll never get hurt.
So all of them say something about Salah. And I'm not get to all of them, but let's talk about Graeme, what he says here. He says a couple years ago at Old Trafford, Martinez went through Salah and he doesn't like that side of the game. I know exactly what game he's talking about. I think that's the 2-1. And okay, cool, fine. Are you going to forget about the 7-0 where Salah spun Martinez? Like, we're just going to forget that. He's going back to a couple years ago. Which brings up the point that I said. People didn't like Salah for a very long time. That's why they're bringing up old stuff. They're not talking about this season. They're talking about old things. Now, Graeme, he very clearly and very publicly had an issue with Paul Pogba. Souness 12 criticism of Paul Pogba after the Uniting feud with Brutal Blast. I'll leave a link to it down below if you want to read it, but I'll mention 2 of the reasons. One of them is the same thing he's saying about Salah, that he's a selfish player. And the second thing he said that he's a lazy... Yeah, we all know that word is. Pogba, you can say Pogba was a flop. I mean, I guess, whatever. But what I'm saying is there are players that he didn't go at the same way he went at Pogba. Specifically Pogba. He went at specifically Pogba the whole time. What are the similarities between Pogba and Salah? I'll make it easy for you. Here's 2 pictures. Yeah, it's obvious, and that's the thing. You can't dislike Salah because of his football ability, because numbers don't lie. Salah's one of the best players to play the game. So you have to dislike him because he's Muslim, and you can't convince me that's not the case, because all these arguments against Salah make no sense. So that's number 1. Number 2, let's move on to Simon Jordan. So I'm going to play the first clip again.
I don't think he's as good as people make him out to be. I do think he's a diver.
Okay, so he calls Salah a diver, right? Now, this is not the first time he's done this. Years ago, he also called Salah a diver.
I know that there's this
Why aren't you?
Because I don't think he's as good as people make him out to be. I think he dives.
I think he dives. Those are his words. Now, Salah being a diver, this is such a stupid thing. He's calling Salah a diver, right? But he's never going to call Harry Kane a diver. The amount of times that Harry Kane dives is crazy. He even got booked in a match for diving. And did Simon Jordan mention that? No, he didn't. He never did. Because he's English. But he's gonna go at Salah for apparently diving. Like, look at this. Like, it's clearly a dive. Like, what is Harry Kane doing? And that's not the only time. Boom, against Everton, against Liverpool, he dived. Again, is Simon Jordan going to call that out? No. If you ask him why, he can't give an answer. But we all know the reason why. Now, here's a new clip that came out.
Particularly like him as a player. I don't particularly like certain things about him. I didn't like some of the things that he said recently about conflicts and altercations in other countries when he's popped up, when it's been something about a particular ethnicity that he has a belief in. But those are sort of moot points. Those are background noise.
So what he's talking about is when Salah put out a video on Twitter calling for humanitarian aid to be sent to Gaza, right? Because of the whole Palestine and Israel thing. Here are Salah's exact words, right? And Simon Jordan, for some reason, has an issue with that. And now you might say, oh, he doesn't want politics in football. But this is the same guy that wanted Russia to be like kicked out of FIFA. So you can't say he doesn't want to talk about politics in football when that's exactly what he did. And I'm glad there are a lot of people calling him out on this. When you ask these people why they don't like Salah, it's never really about football. On a footballing level, Salah is one of the best players. So you can't really talk about football when you say you don't like Salah. So now let's move on to the third guy. Deeney. So one thing I know about him is that hog Deeney moment, and that's it. Maybe I have no ball knowledge, you can say that, but yeah, that's really it. I'm not playing the clip of what he said.
I think we always get caught up in the moment as well. So I can look at the Everton game, the massive derby. That's the one game Liverpool fans don't want you to lose. And when it was 2-1, 5-6 minutes left, there's a few balls that were dropping in the box, and you're thinking, go on, just put your foot through it. And he did leave the toe out a bit, like he didn't want to get injured. And I just feel like, is he overrated? That's a really difficult. I don't think he's overrated at all because he scores a lot of goals. I think it's more about opinion, isn't it? What you like to look at in a wide person. Yeah, I don't think he's world class. I think he's exceptionally good. I think he's that tier just below world class. But I think world class is only reserved for one or two in that position.
So basically, he's saying that Mo Salah isn't world class. And again, this is all coming out after these bad run of games. They were saying nothing when Salah was playing really well. And that's why I don't take things like this seriously, because you guys only come out when it's like, oh yeah, let's everyone attack Salah now. So Troy Deeney talking about who's not world class is like a polar bear in Arlington, Texas. Like why are you like buddy? Like, bro, come on. This guy was sacked after 29 days as a manager. And the reason why is because he went on the rant after his team lost and basically called his own players a bunch of babies, telling a player that he's not good in front of the other teammates. And there's more. Troy Deeney complained there were too many babies in the squad and suggested he would rather sit through the antics of roadshow than watch his own team play. Yeah, you're not both to be a manager. Like, you can't really do that. Calling players out as a manager, there's certain ways to do it. You don't do it like this. So again, the third one is not that bad. This is why I left it for last, because I really don't care what he has to say. Like, come on. So before I end this video, someone on Twitter pointed out, not one big account defended Mo Salah from Simon Jordan's racist attacks or Graeme Souness' ignorant dribble. These are Liverpool fan accounts. And these are the big ones, right? With a lot of followers, lots of impressions, all that. They haven't really said anything. It's been other smaller Liverpool accounts. I would expect the big accounts to at least say something about Salah being racially attacked. They're not going to call it that, but that's what it is. So again, all these accounts, shame on you. Shame on you.